Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello, Stanford. So this is a perfect crowd, it's a perfect night, it's a perfect number of people, so I'm happy to see you all here. And we're here to talk about networking in a 2.0 world. And that might sound like a funny thing, you know, the word networking back in the old days might have sounded a little suspicious and a little sneaky. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it's taken on some new importance lately. And then when I think about 2.0 world, what does that mean? Does that mean social media has taken over and that we don't really need to get together? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. I'm going to talk for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then we're actually going to have a lot of rotation so that everyone can meet each other and have a little fun. That's the whole idea, is on a Wednesday night to come out and have a little fun and do a little networking. So thank you for being here. It's my pleasure to have you all here. Rather than just, if anybody wants a presentation now, it's online, and I'll eventually be putting that on my LinkedIn profile. So I'm using SlideShare as a social media for presentation, kind of like YouTube, but it's for presentations. So it's a lot of fun. Anyway, so we started off with this question for everybody. Is networking more or less or the same importance versus 20 years ago? And I look around the room, and some of us were here working. Baby boomers, we were working 20 years ago, so we know the answer, right? We know what it was like versus now. And then some of you I see were not here working 20 years ago. So you had to, some of you made up answers, what you thought. And you did a pretty good job. So I'm gonna say everyone says it's more important, pretty much except, basically everyone said it's more important. I will say to you that I agree completely. It's more important now than ever. When I was in my 20s, I wasn't thinking about networking, and now it's what everyone's talking about, right? All right, so I think the question is really about time. You know, it seems like the time is so compressed now as compared to 20 years ago, right? But back then, you'd take a phone call. You would have somebody walk into your office, they didn't have an appointment, and they weren't screened. It was before 9/11, they could walk into an office. I used to be the person walking into the office as a salesperson, and people would see me, people would buy from me, people would talk to me. That just is so different from now when you think about telemarketers or people that are selling, people that are looking for a job, right? And many of us are probably in one of those, I like to think that we're all salespeople or job seekers. We're all really in that same boat. And how do you get through? Because honestly, people don't want to, they don't take the phone call anymore, the telemarketers. The baby boomers don't want to have time. The millennials don't even talk on the phone, right? We know that. They don't want to talk on the phone, they want to text, right? So there's really no time. So what I think the time and all the communication means that there's increased importance of relationships. When I think about it, so it's referrals and those warm introductions. You think about the people that you will talk to. You won't answer the telemarketer, or you won't maybe interrupt your day for someone you don't know. But what happens when you get a text and it's 10:30 in the morning and it's from your good friend? You'll take it. You'll drop, I know many of you people, that's what you do, right? You drop it because it's the relationship, right? So you think about that. So how do we build a trusted network today? Because that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about how do we build that. And to me, that's something that you invest in. It's very important for all of us. And I have to tell you, it's really surprising to me what I've learned, because one of the things I do, my main profession, is I teach people how to use LinkedIn. And when I teach them about LinkedIn, I find out about their network, because I find out what their objectives are. Are they looking for a job? Are they looking to sell more? Are they looking to brand themselves more professionally online? And when we get to talking about networking, I ask them, we go over strategies of how to get introductions to people that they don't know. And I learn pretty quickly exactly where they stand with their network. I've had people tell me, well, I don't really have a network that I trust. I've had that happen last week. Someone who was a job seeker, and he didn't trust his network. All the people that were his first level connections, he said that they were not people that could help him, or that he could help. It was really disheartening. So it's amazing to me what I learned. So when you think about your network, every one of us is different, and it's part of what you invest in. So it all starts with one person. And I really believe this, and I think that that's what I told this gentleman. Because he said to me, well, I'm just going to go and send connection requests to all the CEOs. That's how I'll get a job. That's what he said to me, right? I really hear a lot of different things. And I said, well, you know, they don't know you. How is that going to work? Why not start with one person? Start with a few people that you think that you can connect with and warm up your network. Fix your network. You have a network that you just haven't taken care of. So start there, and that's how you'll get where you want to go. That was my advice. But it starts with that one person. Become genuinely interested in other people. Wow, that sounds fantastic. Is that 2.0, or is that something we've always had? Well, guess what? 1936, Dale Carnegie. So Robert, I think you're the one who has it on the board, right? So you get a gold star for that. So here in 1936, that was one of the first persons that was out there talking about relationships and what you have to do to build relationships. And of course, now there's some great books out there that I'll share with you, but Dale Carnegie was where it started. And in fact, some of the books that I love now are all about building your network as a giver. So givers tend to have the best networks. So givers have the best networks. How many people have read Give and Take by Adam Grant? Okay, so a few of you have read it. So I've always thought it, and I always believed it, but that book really helped because it was a lot of great examples. So, and I've actually lived it and seen people that I've tried to connect. I'll give you one example. I had a friend of mine whose son was actually living overseas for many years and moved to the US, and he was kind of lost and he was alone, and he was starting a new career, and this guy was in his 20s, and I was trying to think, who can I connect that person with to maybe have a conversation? So I thought of somebody in a similar business, and then I asked them, could you meet with this person and have a cup of coffee? And they said to me, well, why would I do that? They can't help me. So this is a person, I know this person, they have like 4 people in their network. It's a good person. I think maybe eventually he'll realize that he's missing so much. So by saying, I'm not going to meet with someone because how can they help me, he's closing it off. And so he's got 4 people in his network that they're very close, but it's not a rich, deep, strong, diverse network, right? So that's just an example. But givers build the best network. And you think about people that have a really strong network, they're out there helping, giving advice, all the different things. All right, so face-to-face, people say, well, Sandra, you're a LinkedIn social media person. They sometimes even have the preconceived notion that means that I think that's networking. Well, I'm here to tell you, to me that's a tool that gets you to the meeting. It's all about the face-to-face, because the kind of job that I'm gonna want, or the kind of sale that I'm gonna want, doesn't happen online. I don't sell sponges, or no offense on sponges, but the kind of work that I want to do, the kind of professional work that I want to do, it's going to require face-to-face meetings. It just is. I've had people in my LinkedIn classes say to me, I'm here to sell online, that's all I want to do. And I say, well, LinkedIn, the LinkedIn class you're in, it's all about building relationships and getting to meetings. So if you just want to sell sponges online, then you need to go talk to someone about your website, right? And you need to have, you do Google AdWords so people will come to your site and buy your stuff. But what we're talking about here is relationships. It's very different. So it doesn't replace, it's helping you get there. So we always know you want to discover what you have in common, right? Think about anytime you go to a meeting, you're going to make a sales call, whatever, interview, you want to figure out what do you have in common. That helps you warm up whoever you're talking to, right? And find what are those things that we can get excited about together, right? So like Robert and Barbara have a Penn State connection. That's exciting, right? And there's some of you that have wellness connections that will talk about things, right? And we've got all different groups of people here. So discovering what you have in common is a lot of fun. And then the sweet spots are when you can help someone and they can help you. It doesn't always happen automatically. Sometimes you'll meet somebody and you might help them or they might help you, and then 3 months later, they're calling you, they can either help you or whatever. I mean, it happens that way, right? It doesn't always happen automatically, but you build that strong network and always be connecting. So what I love to do is meet people that I can then introduce to other people. And I know so many of my friends do that, and I'm really having a lot of fun with that. So it's almost to the point where, can I handle it all, right? All the introductions from one person to the next. But it's really very exciting to be a part of that. Keeping your network diverse. Love this. You know, I'm a baby boomer. I love to talk about baby boomers and millennials, that's my thing. So I worked for a long time. Everybody was a baby boomer. When I started working, seriously, I mean, there were some people that were in the greatest generation, you know, my parents' generation. There were some of them. But really, the people that I talked to were all baby boomers. And now, it's exciting for me because the millennials are in the workforce, and I've got friends that are millennials. And I've got people that I trust and like and, you know, work with, people like Christina. So, there she's in the back. So, she's younger than my daughter. And we have a lot of fun, and we work together, and she makes me think, and I think I make her think, and it's a great thing. And I've got Ben, my new friend Ben. I think he's a millennial, but much older than Christina. And so anyway, I think it's great to have a diverse network. Not everybody is going to be 50-some-year-old woman that I deal with. I want to have a lot of people that I work with and know and trust. So investing in your network is, tonight you're investing in networking, and to me, it's about taking time. If you think about your career, but it's always investing in your network, making that a priority. So thinking about who you're, not just tonight, but who you're having coffee with, who you're having lunch with, even if you're in a large corporation. I worked at Pitney Bowes for many years, and I remember every week thinking about who were the lunch dates I was going to have outside of my department. Because all the department, they go off and have lunch together. The same people every day or every week, right? So thinking about proactively every single week, how are you investing in your network? You're doing that, and you're investing in your future. So it's pretty cool now, too. How many people use MeetUp? Okay, that's pretty good. So MeetUp is, I think that's how I met Wendy, and I met Larry, right? From MeetUp. And Eventbrite, some of you folks tonight told me, you know, Eventbrite is where there's events put up here, so that some of you came from that. Then there's all these co-working spaces. All this stuff didn't exist 10 years ago or 20 years ago. There wasn't the choice. So the co-working, like this is a co-working space, this whole building, and there's a lot of places, innovation type places all over the state actually, and all over the country. It's great places to meet people. This is my pet thing. The #1 networking reason for success is following up, right? It's just, and whether you're looking for a job or you're looking to, you know, anything you're trying to accomplish, you know, you're going to go out, and I'm going to tell you this, and I hope you believe me, but 90% of the people don't follow up in a proactive way. And there are opportunities all over. They go places, they come home with business cards, or they meet people in some other fashion, they don't follow up. And again, I have lots of stories about that. And and I'll tell you, it's so easy now. When I think about follow-up, there's all these great ways. Obviously, there's social media follow-up, there's email that's been around for quite a while. This is one of my favorites, is to send a photo. So what I do is if I'm going to an event and someone is speaking, and what I always do is I take their photo, because people who are speaking love to have a photo. And I take their photo and I go up to them at the end and I say, can I have your card? I took some photos. And they go, oh, great, can you send it? Because they want to put them on their website, right? And that's how I start helping. It's like, again, how can you help somebody? Something like that. And then they're going to check me out on LinkedIn, right? They're going to say, who's this person who sent me a photo, right? So all these little tricks about ways you can follow up. And of course, my favorite is using LinkedIn, because you have all these ways to follow up. I can connect with someone, I can endorse them, right? I can email message them, I can mention them, I can follow them, I can read their blog, right? I can like their stuff. All these so easy ways for me to stay connected after I've had that meeting, okay? And of course, a lot of this you can do ahead of time too, if you really want to warm somebody up before your meeting. It's to the point where I'm so busy, I have to question, if I can't find somebody on LinkedIn, my question is, can I really invest in searching for them, right? So I went to an event in Westport in October, and I got 12 business cards, and they were really quality conversations. It was 2 hours of, you know, a lot of discussions. Really great people, and 9 of them I could find instantly on LinkedIn, and 3 of them I couldn't. So not that the three that I couldn't weren't great people, they were, but I couldn't find them. So they didn't, it was very difficult, right? So I ended up connecting with the people that, you know, and I have had subsequent conversations since that time. So it's something to think about in this day and age. So mobile, now I sort of feel like there's a, you know, you text, I'll have to ask you, the audience, this question. To me, there's an etiquette about texting. And you don't necessarily text everyone, right? Doesn't it sort of feel like you only text people that you're kind of close with? Do you guys feel that way? You wouldn't just, right? If you get a card from someone who has their cell phone, it doesn't mean you're going to start texting them, right? But once you start getting texts from some people, you kind of get excited and think, wow, I'm good enough that they're texting me, right? It's kind of like a relationship. I don't know, it feels kind of like that. All right, so networking apps. So we have some, and there's books and apps and tools, right? And we have some people put some suggestions here, and I took a photo. But I'm glad to see that so many people put LinkedIn on here, and Barbara's got Twitter. We've got some great books up here. Scanned business cards from David, right? Excellent. BNI, Chamber, MeetUp, okay? So these are all great. And I'm going to give you guys a list. I have a list of a couple of books I want to mention to you, and I have a list of apps that I wanted, so you'll be, it's a takeaway I have for you tonight. And basically, like I mean, obviously I use LinkedIn as an app as well as on my computer, but I also use LinkedIn Connected, and that's a really great app that you can quickly see who's changed jobs, who's moved around. There's a couple of other apps that I want to share with you, and they're on the list, like Refresh. There's some of these apps where you can quickly, let's say you're going to meet with somebody, and you can quickly look and see what they're doing across all social. You can see what they're doing on LinkedIn, what are they doing on Twitter, what are they doing on Google+. So it just helps you, before you're going to walk in, you know, kind of what their whole universe is like. So I have that for you. And, okay. So then I always say, you always want to be thankful. And that's another way to follow up. Think of all the people that you can thank, right? That's why I love November, because I'm always thinking, who are all the people I can thank and what are the ways I can thank them? But I shouldn't just be doing that in November. I should be thanking, right? So if you think about being thankful, that's a great way to follow up. So the moral of the story is we're here to, the network, and when I tell you, I see people that come in really struggling, people that have been in the workforce for a long time that don't have the network. And then I see some millennials, some younger people that have fabulous networks. So it's not the age that has to do with it, it's what you invest. And even if you're not looking for a job right now, and if you're not looking for a sale right now, you're investing in yourself by creating those, it's creating friendships and relationships that you know that, and you're helping people and they're gonna help you. So that is it. So are you all like really excited and ready to rotate around? We're gonna do some, we're calling it speed.